Boys, welcome back to the channel. Gentlemen, we live in a little dangerous today, a little spontaneous. You can see we're on the roof. It's a beautiful day. You got the view in Utah with the mountains, snowy, amazing. So boys, what I want to speak about in this video, and I think this is going to be the best video I put out to date, is creating the dream character and then going out to actually live it. Because I see so many dudes nowadays going about life and they're kind of just winging it. And because they're winging it, because they don't have a plan put together, because they have no sense of direction or structure to where they're actually trying to go in the life they're trying to live, ultimately they will never get there. And that's why you see so many dudes that, like, it's just sad because they're not living up to the potential, because they don't even know what the potential looks like. It's like, dude, you have to know what something looks like and then again put the plan together to actually getting to there, to actually living up to the potential, right? And so you have to design your life. You have to essentially design your character. And what I mean by this is, for myself, guys, growing up, I loved, like, watching movies and the badasses in the movies, bro. Like, I'm talking about the hitmans, the guys that wore suits and that were assassins, like, you know, 007, Batman, all those kind of characters in movies, right? From the kind of cars they drove, from the lifestyle they lived, from the whiskey they would drink, to the cigar lounges they would go to the women. Like, I always loved those kind of characters in movies. And so that's the first step in this entire process, is you're going to want to identify in some way, shape, or form, bro, like a couple of characters, or at least a couple of people you can think of, even if they're not in movies, bro. Maybe there are a couple of people like icons that you look up to, or celebrities, or people that you watch on YouTube, whatever. And just kind of think of the life that they live. And so you can kind of get a general picture of what it's like, right? And so, again, for me, this was like 007, all those kind of guys, right? And once I identified that, then I further broke this down into, like, okay, dude, if I want to live like 007, fucking James Bond, you know, he's got the suit on, he got like the hair, the guns, the fucking beautiful cars, women, all the stuff, right? It's like, okay, what can I do to actually live that life? And this is now where I'll break down the actual, like, questions and action steps you have to do. So the first thing you're going to want to ask yourself is, what kind of traits does this person have in their character? You know, like, what kind of person are they? How is it that they act? How is it that they actually move? And so sit there for yourself and ask these and identify these. And then once you identify these, you write this. By the way, write this all fucking down on a piece of paper for yourself, bro. And so you identify this. So, like, okay, this guy's never really loud. He's always calm. He's mellow. He's dangerous, but he's not loud. He doesn't bark the loudest. He doesn't scream in every room that he fucking walks into, right? So you identify, like, the character traits and you write those down. And then once you identify that, start acting like that. Literally. Just start behaving the way your dream character behaves. Okay? So that's the first step. The second step is more so identifying the materialistic things. So this can be anything from, like, the kind of car he drives, to the kind of house he lives in, to the kind of decorations in the house, the kind of watches, like, essentially kind of like the lifestyle. Then you identify the lifestyle that that character is living, that you want to live. And so, again, this can be materialistic in any way, shape, or form. This doesn't have to be like, okay, you live in the United States with a huge house and some kind of classic car or a Mercedes. You could be living in Thailand. You could be living in Bali. You could be living in Singapore. You could be living anywhere. Like, create the kind of dream lifestyle for yourself, and list that out, right? Exactly the kind of car, all those things. And for myself, I always wrote down, all right, I'm going to be driving a Mercedes, either an E63 or like an S63 coupe, right? things along those lines, the house, the colors, all that. And then once you do that, then you're going to want to do the actual style. Now, style is a very, very important one because I think what style does is it puts all of them together as far as, you know, the way you act, the way you behave, the kind of, again, lifestyle you live. It's like your style in clothing and hair, in look, essentially, plays like a huge role into all of this. And so identify for yourself, bro, how you want to dress, right? Like a big thing I've seen in the past couple of years to entrepreneurs and dudes coming up is like old money, right? And so a lot of dudes want to dress old money. And what happens when you dress old money, right? When you put on the like half quarter zip polo with the Loros on, right? The Loro Pianas on, and you got the dress pants. Like, what happens to the way you act? You got the watch, you start acting a different way, right? You like embody the style in your behavior. So that's the next thing you're gonna want to do. And so for myself, this played a huge role into my life because when I look back to the way I used to dress like 4 or 5 years ago, it was crazy. I used to wear like baggy clothes, baggy pants. I used to wear Jordans, and because of that, I acted like that. I acted very hood, very gangster in a way, but not in a good way, in a bad way. Um, and then as time went on, as I got more fit, as I changed the way I dressed, started dressing essentially more like not too tight, not too baggy, but nice, stylish, a little old money, a little modern, new style. My behavior also dictated that. And like the things I wore to the gym, like you guys can see, I wear a lot of fitted clothes because I think they fit the best. And this is me. Like this just, I designed all of this, right? And so with that, once you got the style down to the kind of colors you want to wear, the kind of clothes you want to wear, the next thing you have to identify, and this is probably the most important in my sense, is what kind of shape is this person in, physically and mentally, right? And this one is so big because, dude, like the best way I like to break this down to a lot of people is, you know, a lot of people will say, hey, I want to get in shape. But what does that mean? And this is why you're gonna always want to be very, very specific with what it is that you actually work towards, because getting in shape can mean so many different things, right? Like, do you want to become a bodybuilder? Is this person fucking huge? Is he like going to become like some kind of Mr. Olympia winner? Is he just a mass monster? Or do you want to become essentially like an athletic runner? Do you want to just be a little more skinny but very, very athletic in a sense for running? Are you, you know, do you just want to have like an aesthetic physique? Like there's so many different things and different kind of training styles to actually getting in shape. And that's why you have to be very specific, because each one of these things requires very different types of training and action steps to that. So it's like if you wanted to become a fighter, I mean, it's going to be looking very different in the training you do compared to just weightlifting or just you know, running training. Like, yes, they're all similar in some way, shape, or form, but they are actually very different in the action plan and the things you have to carry out to that specific kind of goal, right? And so that's the number one thing in my eyes is like what you're going to want to identify and be very specific about. Is like, okay, what kind of in health and mind does this person embody, right? And so for myself, it was like, okay, I just want to be, I want to have a nice physique. I want to be in shape, but in shape in like an aesthetic physique. I don't want to get too fucking big, but I don't want to be too small. I still want to be athletic, and I still want to box. I still want to be able to be flexible and move and fuck somebody up, because essentially, like, those were my dream characters, right? The hitmans, the guys that could shoot the guns, the guys that could one-on-one combat with somebody, right? And so exactly that's what I did. I started lifting weights, I started boxing, still kept like running and all the different kinds of trainings based on what I was trying to do, right? So that's what you're gonna wanna do. And then as far as mentality goes, I always like to say, the way it works with trying to get into a specific mindset and pushing your mind is through physical achievement, is through like continuous physical work. Because what you'll notice 10 times out of 10, bro, if you haven't noticed this already, pay very close attention, is, guys, your mind always quits before you're actually done, and you actually essentially think you're done. Like, your body can go so much more further than what your mind thinks. And so a lot of the times you'll stop and you have like 25, 50, 75% left in the tank. It's like, it's just because you need to push your mind. You need to unlock the deeper levels in your mind, and then your body will follow. And so that's why it's like, it's continuously in that physical activity, and those physical things and challenges will you be able to push your mind to the next level, and so forth and so on, right? And so in physical challenges, does your mind get pushed, and that helps you push into a certain kind of mindset, whatever that you're trying to build. So now that you've identified essentially the characteristics that this character embodies, you've identified the lifestyle, you've identified the shape in mental and physical. The last thing that you really need to identify is business, bro. Is what does this person do essentially for a living? What does this person do to make money in a way, right? What kind of a position does he hold? Is he a CEO? Is he a salesperson? What does he do? And identify that for yourself, right? Because if you want to live a crazy lifestyle, and you already understand that in order to live that kind of lifestyle, you have to have like a certain level of income or whatever, then okay, now you understand that you're gonna have to do something that allows you to have that kind of income. So something potentially with no cap on how much you make. So you're gonna have to start your own business, or you're gonna have to get into a certain field, right? But that all comes with identifying the character. And for myself, like I always said, I have to build my own empire. I can't work for anybody in that sense, right? Because working for myself is essentially, there will never really be a cap on how much money I can make. And the lifestyle I want to live, the kind of life that I want to live, is full of freedom. And the only way I'm going to have that freedom is by working for myself. And it's not really the freedom, it was just never really having somebody tell me what to do at all times. I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want, right? Even if that means, all right, fuck it, I got to work 12 hours today on my business, 24 hours today on my business. Like, I'd still rather do that, right? And so once you identify that, this is by far as well one of the more important ones, because, you know, people a lot of the times, and relate this back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video, will wing life. And you know, I see a bunch of comments on Instagram, for example, where dudes will talk about like how easy some people have it on like making millions of dollars because they decided to post online, or they decided to get into this field, or while you're going to work in the morning at 7 and you realize some OnlyFans model made like $13 million this year by posting pictures, whatever. And it's like, that's why this is so important, because guys, you hold all the power, you hold all the control. Design your character to your liking. It's like, you choose what line of business, you choose what profession you get into. Nobody's forcing you to do shit, bro. We all have like free will. And so with that, it's like, no matter what position you're put in, or whatever kind of excuse you want to tell me, if like, oh, I can't do that or this or that's, like, believe me, you fucking can. You just have to figure out a way to do it. And so that's why this is so important, because, bro, you choose what trade you get into. You choose what business vehicle you get into. So get into the one that makes most sense with the kind of character, with the kind of life that you're actually trying to live and work towards. Otherwise, why the fuck are you doing it? This is your only life. This is your one life. Stop doing things and working towards things that you don't fucking like doing. Living a life full of misery is essentially bullshit. And I don't mean misery in like pushing past failure and doing the things we don't like doing regardless. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like, why would you build an empire? Why would you build a life full of garbage that you don't like? You hold the power, bro. Live a life full of excitement. Live a life full of things you actually want to build. And that's why I'm so big on all this. This is literally why I do what I do. It's like I always envision, I want to be a very masculine dude, hold a masculine frame. I want to be a leader. I want to build a brand that's dope as fuck. Like if you go to my Instagram, you can see the kind of brand I'm building, the kind of boys I'm attracting with my YouTube. All these things, like I'm living life by my fucking design. You have to be the same way, bro. You have to want to wake up every day and fucking conquer. And the only way you're gonna wake up every day and conquer and feel fucking excited and do all of this shit is if you're actually working towards something your fucking heart and your mind want to work towards. You're gonna wake up every day like, fuck, bro, let's go. It's time. I'm working towards my fucking dreams. Right? Because if you're not doing that, that's probably the reason you're living such a miserable life right now. Maybe you're making a lot of money, but it has nothing to do with what you actually like to do. It's like obviously, it's like you don't even enjoy what you're doing. It's like find something that you enjoy doing. Like we actually have so much time in a day, it's insane. We have so much potential until, dude, if you're not a grandpa watching this, you don't know how much testosterone, how much fucking potential, how much work you can put into like so many different things and absolutely conquer. I always say this, bro, like we are young. We are fucking young conquerors, bro. You want to go and take down another fucking company, you'll make it happen. You want to go out and make it your life's mission to achieve something, you'll fucking make it happen. If you give it your all, if you work at it like there's no fucking tomorrow, you have endless fucking potential and you don't know. This is why I'm so big on mind work, because the only thing that's stopping you, bro, is your mind. And that is why you have to design all of this with your mind first, then go out and create it. I always say everything in this world has been created twice, first in the mind and then in the real world. So once you identify those things for yourself, boys, we come to the end of this video where this is by far what puts it all together and what actually allows for you to, it's getting kind of cold, I'm like shivering. This is what actually allows for you to start living towards this life, is you have to have actionable steps towards living this life. And so what I like to do is I always create like a daily list of things that I have to get done every single day towards living this life, right? So for example, like with the shape, with the lifestyles, okay, work on my business, work on my mind and my body, gym, work on fighting, combat, right? So like train boxing, whatever it is, things along those lines. But what you can do, and I understand that we are all starting from different points, is on the minimum, what I would do for yourself is create 5 action items, 5 steps and 5 things that you are going to do every single week at first towards living this life. Now, if that is too little, create yourself a couple things that you're gonna do every single day, but I understand that's gonna be a little hard. So if you can't do every day, do the 5 a week. But if you're a killer, if you're like me, bro, and when you want to do something, you don't fucking wait until tomorrow, you start doing it right now. You want to absolutely start killing shit and working towards that life, because there's no time to fucking waste. Time is money. All these things. Every breath you take is another breath towards fucking death. Create yourself a couple action items to what you're gonna hold structure towards every single day towards actually living this dream character's life. And again, in that, boys, will you find it like how, I don't want to say easy, but how much more clear, how much more structure you will hold in your life, how much more of a sense of direction you'll actually have. And write this all down on paper. Write down all the character traits of the character that you are trying to create in your life. Okay? And the most important thing as well, I know I keep saying that, but this is all important, is it doesn't have to be one character. Again, gentlemen, what I always found for myself, and this is kind of what makes me me and what will make you you, is identify a bunch of characters and pick and choose from each one what you like and what you don't like, and then put it all together. And that's kind of what makes you, and how you can then essentially become better than all of these characters is because you pick and choose. Like I remember, the reason you never want to follow like one person too closely, or why I never did, is because number one, you have to become your own beacon. Like you never really want to look up to like one person or somebody. Like you always look up to yourself. But that'll be another video. But more so, it's like when I would watch one person or another, I would always notice there's certain things that like I didn't agree with certain people, or certain things that I disliked about them, or certain things that just really weren't in line with myself, for example. And so that's why the reason you do this is because you pick all of the things that you're really like from other people, from 4 or 5 characters, and then you put it all together. And that's why it's like, okay, you don't ever want to copy somebody 100%, because then that's not even you, right? That's that person. And so this is why it's like you're creating your own dream character by putting this all together and then actually working towards living that life, right? So boys, write this all down, identify the action steps, identify the fucking character you're gonna build in real life. What business is he in? What does he look like? What is his haircut? How many girls, how many wives does he have, if that's what you're into? Damn, I'm getting cold, bro. All those things. Keep track of it, work towards it every fucking day like it's your last. Hopefully you guys took something valuable from this, and I will see you boys in the next video. Let's get it.